the U.S. Army has deployed the 5th Squadron, 7th Cavalry Regiment, part of the 1st Armored Brigade Combat Team, 3rd Infantry Division, to Camp Rido, Estonia, marking the first time an American armored brigade has been stationed at this strategic Baltic base. Since their arrival, soldiers from the 5 to 7 Cavalry have conducted daily motorized combined arms operations, integrating tanks, infantry fighting vehicles, armored support units, and artillery. The operations are designed to enhance interoperability with NATO allies while demonstrating readiness to counter potential threats in the region. The 5 to 7 Cavalry is the first unit across the U.S. Army to field the Armored Multi-Purpose Vehicle, AMPV, designed to replace the aging M113 platform. Built on the Bradley chassis, the AMPV offers increased survivability, improved mobility, and advanced digital networking capabilities to meet the demands of modern warfare. In addition, the unit has received the latest upgraded Bradley fighting vehicle featuring advanced fire control systems, improved thermal imaging, and enhanced armor protection to counter modern anti-armor threat. Beyond the Estonia deployment, the U.S. is sending more than 2,700 vehicles and pieces of military equipment to Poland, including legacy Bradley infantry fighting vehicles. These assets will undergo certification and integration before being positioned at key NATO locations across Europe. The influx of heavy equipment is part of the U.S. commitment to NATO's enhanced forward presence and deterrence strategy along its eastern flank, reinforcing Allied capabilities in the face of sustained Russian military activity near NATO border. The presence of a full U.S. armored brigade in Estonia represents a significant shift in NATO's force posture. Estonia's proximity to the Russian border, particularly the Peskov region, makes it a vital location for rapid response operations. Military analysts note that with AMPV-equipped units and modernized Bradleys, NATO now possesses a more mobile, networked, and heavily protected armored force capable of responding to high-intensity conflict scenarios. This deployment not only strengthens NATO's immediate deterrence along the Eastern Front, but also sends a clear strategic message to Moscow. Any attempt to challenge Allied security in the Baltics will be met with decisive, armored force. Since arriving at Camp Rido, the 5 to 7 Cavalry Regiment has begun a series of joint training exercises with Estonian Defense Forces and other NATO partners, including British and German armored units. These drills focus on combined arms maneuver warfare, rapid deployment, and cross-border mobility critical skills for responding to a high-tempo conflict scenario in the Baltic region. The deployment also integrates advanced command and control C2 systems, enabling real-time coordination between U.S. forces and Allied units. According to senior Army officials, the AMPV digital backbone is a key enabler for these networked operations, providing faster targeting data, battlefield awareness, and secure communications. Moscow has condemned the deployment, labeling it as a direct provocation and accusing NATO of escalating tensions in Eastern Europe. The Russian Ministry of Defense has reportedly increased military patrols and reconnaissance flights near the Estonian and Latvian borders. Defense analysts warn that this forward positioning of U.S. armor may lead to increased Russian military exercises in the Western Military District, including the deployment of Iskander-M short-range ballistic missiles to Kaliningrad. Such moves could significantly raise the stakes in an already volatile security environment. The arrival of over 2,700 U.S. vehicles in Poland for certification before forward deployment represents one of the largest peacetime movements of heavy armor in recent NATO history. This operation tests NATO's logistical resilience, the ability to rapidly receive, certify, and forward deploy large quantities of combat power across multiple borders while maintaining operational readiness. Furthermore, the forward stationing of the AMPV and upgraded Bradley fleet offers NATO an armored spearhead capable of responding in hours rather than days. This drastically shortens NATO's reaction time to any Russian military movements in the Baltics. With this deployment, NATO signals its shift from a tripwire force posture, where small numbers of troops act as a symbolic deterrent, to a combat-ready force capable of sustained operations near Russia's borders. The 5 to 7 cavalry's presence in Estonia marks a decisive step toward ensuring that any future aggression is met not just with political condemnation, but with immediate and overwhelming military capability. Military historians may look back at 2025 as the year NATO's deterrence strategy in Eastern Europe fundamentally shifted. The forward deployment of a U.S. armored brigade equipped with next-generation combat vehicles in Estonia represents more than just a rotation of forces. It is a permanent change in the alliance's posture toward Moscow. In previous years, NATO relied heavily on rotational battalion-sized deployments in the Baltic states, supported by rapid reinforcement plans from Western Europe. However, the speed of modern mechanized warfare, coupled with Russia's demonstrated willingness to mobilize forces near NATO's borders, has driven a new doctrine: deploy heavy combat power forward and keep it there. Camp Rito's location is particularly significant. Situated in southern Estonia, the base offers rapid access to the Narva corridor, the most likely axis of advance in the event of a Russian incursion, while also serving as a hub for reinforcement operations into Latvia and Lithuania. The presence of a full armored brigade here means that NATO's heavy forces are now within immediate striking distance of critical border choke points. Furthermore, Estonia's well-developed military infrastructure and integration with NATO's air defense network give the 5 to 7 cavalry significant operational advantages. Combined with Allied air power based in Poland and the Baltic region, the brigade can operate with a protective umbrella that significantly complicates any potential Russian offensive. While much of the focus is on Estonia's proximity to Russia, the deployment also sends a message to other regions watching NATO's actions closely, from Ukraine to the Black Sea and even to allies in the Indo-Pacific. By demonstrating a willingness to forward deploy modernized heavy forces, Washington is making clear that its security guarantees are backed by real combat power, not just rhetoric. The decision to equip the 1st Forward-Based Brigade with the AMPV and upgraded Bradley underscores the U.S. commitment to keeping its frontline forces on par with or ahead of emerging threats. It is also a tangible reminder that NATO's Collective Defense Clause, Article 5, is not a symbolic promise but a standing military reality. The deployment of the 5 to 7 Cavalry Regiment to Estonia, supported by the massive movement of 2,700 vehicles into Europe, represents one of the most consequential NATO military actions of the decade. It is both a deterrent and a declaration that any aggression along the alliance's eastern border will be met not by a token resistance, but by a fully equipped, combat-ready armored force capable of decisive action. For Russia, the message is unmistakable. The era of minimal NATO presence on its western flank is over. For the Baltic states, it is a reassurance that they will not stand alone. And for the world, it is a reminder that in the shadow of renewed great power competition, the balance of deterrence is forged in steel, firepower, and the will to act.